Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm Shanae Washington, your favorite creative brand strategist. And today we are talking about what it's like to actually work with a brand strategist. I typically work with industry experts who want to have a personal brand. I work with small size entrepreneurs that want to become medium sized businesses or brands. And those are typically the ones that I work with. But what I do realize is that many of them do not know what a brand strategist is supposed to do. Some of them had never heard of a brand strategist. And a lot of the times, I'm finding myself kind of explaining what it is that I do because they kind of assume that I kind of do everything, that I do all the things, and that's just not what a strategist does. So, we're going to dive what it's like to work with a brand strategist and just some of the things that I've come across with different clients, kind of frequently asked questions and stuff that you may have. So, I hope you find value in today's video. So, really quickly, before we hop in, if you could hit the subscribe button so you can lock in with me every week, that would be great. And let's get started. Okay, so the first thing, I think we should decipher the difference between what is a strategist versus a coach. That's something that I typically get very often in terms of what people's expectations are. Now, I know coach is something, it's kind of like a title that's kind of overused right now. Everybody's a coach. But I do think that there's value in having a strategist and having a coach. Not necessarily at the same time, but there's value in both. So let's work it down. So the first thing is let's go with a strategist. So a strategist is more interested in making a plan for you to move forward towards whatever goal that it is that you're trying to reach. And what they do is they look at your problem, they look at whatever your current situation is, and then they look at the goal, what it is that you're trying to accomplish. They look at that, and you know where they live? They live in the middle. They're trying to get you from over here, where your problem is, to over here, to what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And they're going to give you the steps. They're going to break it down as easy as possible. They're going to give you all of those mini milestones that you need to hit, as well as the tactical steps that you need to take to get there. Now, some strategists do have kind of like an implementation part of their service. I am one of those strategists that do. Many of them only give you the strategy and just kind of send you on your way because they're giving you a step-by-step guide on what to do. Me, on the other hand, I have various skill sets, and a lot of my clients are not very tech savvy. They don't really want to like deal with creating funnels and ads and all of those different things and dealing with AI and design. Like a lot of them don't even want to do any of that. So since I have that skill set, that is something that I bring to the table, and which is a unique selling point for myself because I can do all the things. So that is a strategist. Now, a coach, on the other hand, they are going to be more of holding you accountable, encouraging you. They're going to be focusing a lot on mindset and kind of breaking down a lot of your limiting beliefs. And for many of them, they're helping you develop a skill for you to achieve a specific outcome. So there is room for both, but understand that a strategist is more done for you and a coach is done with you. Like they're going to be with you while you're doing it, but they're not going to do the work for you. Like they're going to coach you. They're going to tell you what you need to do, but you have to go and do it. versus the strategist that's going to actually put the plan together for you. They're going to tell you what to do. And like I said, some will actually do part of the plan for you. So that's the difference, first of all. And that's a very common question that I get in consultations. Okay, so number two, one of the common things that I see while working with clients is that no idea is a bad idea. Some ideas are a maybe another time idea, but no idea is a bad idea. And here's what I mean by that. I love my clients. They typically come with these big dreams and these very overcomplicated ideas on what they want to do. I love that stuff because I love taking the big dreams. I love taking the overcomplicated and what seems impossible and actually breaking it down into something that is achievable. And I think that that's something that we take for granted because we have all these different ideas and stuff and we just want to make everything work like right now. But you can make something work, but maybe it needs to work maybe later on down the line. Maybe you're not quite ready for that just yet. Maybe not. And some of them have ideas that's not even related to what it is that they're trying to do, but they saw it somewhere and it was like, man, that's really cool how they did that. And I would love to incorporate it some kind of way with my business, but I have no idea how to pull that off. Well, that's where I come in. And to be completely honest, I love those kind of challenges because a lot of the most successful brands or the successful campaigns, they typically take a page out of another brand's playbook that's in a completely unrelated industry. And it works. It absolutely works. I think I remember what CEO was it? Don't quote me on this, but I think it was Best Buy's CEO. They he would go into almost like a grocery store or like a supermarket and try like their layout because the layout of the Best Buys of the past wasn't working. And he would just be trying shit. I loved him. He would just be trying stuff. And that's how Best Buy was able to sustain itself over the years because he would pull different things from different businesses, like from different like bigger companies and stuff, and see if it would work, to just see if it would like incorporate into his business model. So I always encourage out of the box thinking, and my clients know I always ask them, like, as soon as they start doubting themselves, well, I can't do that. Well, why can't you? Why not? Let's just explore it. Let's talk it out. So, okay. So the next thing, get my notes out real quick. Okay. So the third thing that I come across is that there is a level of self-awareness that you have to bring to the table. And like I said, I typically work with industry experts that want to create personal brands. And a lot of the times, what I find is that they want to bring only the good parts of themselves. But you have to be completely honest with yourself and with me and whatever strategist that you're working with. You have to be completely honest about your shortcomings. You have to be completely honest about your story, about your outcome. You have to be honest about those things. And you have to have a level of transparency and openness because I'm going to tell you right now, entrepreneurship will expose you. Entrepreneurship exposes weaknesses. So yeah, so the more upfront and honest that you are with yourself, as well as with the person that you're working with, that's the best brand that you can create. That's the best persona that you could create is your own. And it's a lot easier to be yourself versus trying to be this version of somebody that doesn't exist or somebody that's not you. So, quite frankly, if you're an introvert and you're socially awkward, be that. There is a audience for that. If you are a social butterfly and you just love talking to everybody and you just like talking about only positive things and all that stuff, there's an audience for that. Or quite frankly, if you're just an asshole, people identify with that too. If you're just like sarcastic all the time and stuff, like people identify with that. So be yourself because you're going to be the only person that loses if you decide to, to hide parts of your personality because there's only one you. So, okay, so the next one, this one is real good. So, and this is coming from me. It's only fluff if you don't use it the way that it was intended for you to use it. Let me explain. So, things like your mission statement, your vision, your values, your voice and tone, those things are not fluff. And that's typically something that I hear from people before they become a client. They think that that's something that's just supposed to sit on their website and just be there. Like it's a nice to have. No, it is not just a nice to have. It is a requirement. And quite frankly, I'm going to say this. For clients, if let me back up. If you are coming to a strategist and you do not know at least why you're doing something, at least like why you're starting this business or why you want to impact people or why you want to do something. Like if you don't at least have that, I can't help you. There is absolutely no amount of strategy that I can give you to pull that out of you because that's something that you need to come with. Like people think that they could come as a complete blank canvas, and that is not the case. Nah, you need to come with at least a rough draft. At least a rough draft. Even if it's not good, even if it's not thought all the way out, that's fine. At least you have something. But if you don't have any passion behind what it is that you're doing, I can't help you. Because I don't know what to do with that. Because at this point, we just making shit up. So, in which I did have a client like that once and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I can't do this. Because the only thing that client wanted to do was make money. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's definitely a part of it. But I see, like, I immediately saw that, you're not ready for this because you're still in hustler mentality. So, yeah, you need to have a vision. That's where you want to be in the future. Like, what in a perfect world, what is it that you want to see? And then your mission is how you're going to move your organization or your business forward to achieve said vision. Like what is it that you're going to be doing? How are you executing this? And your values, this is the one that people typically decide is super fluff, is the brand values. Now, it is 2024. In no way, shape, or form should anybody be saying that great customer service is my brand value. Well, no shit. No, nobody's going to have a brand value that says, yeah, I'm going to just shit on my customers. You know, like, there is nothing unique about that at all. I stop clients dead in their tracks when they start saying stuff like that. That is so generic. So here's what I do. I do ask them to identify a few words that they believe embodies themselves, as well as their mission and what it is that they're trying to do. And I ask them why. I ask them to give me stories, tell me why, what inspired this and stuff. So now, I'm starting to see the pieces. I'm starting to see the pieces come together. I'm starting to get a feel for your personality. I'm starting to get a feel for your heart. I'm starting to understand more of why you want to do this. And this isn't just something to sit on the website. I don't do words for a reason. I do phrases. Phrases don't leave anything up for interpretation. Nah, I said what I said. And when we bring on team members, when we start expanding our businesses and bringing people on, we want them to embody what our values are. But here's the thing. If you just got some bullshit values or whatever from a book that don't mean anything to you, well, you're not embodying it. So if you're not embodying it, how are you going to hire people to embody that? You have to lead by example. You have to lead by example. And when you have the right values in place, you know the things to look for when you're hiring. These are those invisible intangibles. The things that you can't teach. The things that somebody just have in them or they don't. Things like compassion for people, like especially if you're dealing with the public, if you're dealing with a vulnerable population, you have to have compassion when you're dealing with these people, when you're dealing with their families, when you're dealing with their loved ones, whatever. You have to have compassion for these people. So if that's not a part of your values, well, yeah, you may get somebody that can technically do the job, but they're not going to be a good fit. They're not going to be bought in to the vision because they can't see it, because they're not this type of person. Your values are going to tell you what type of person you are. All right, getting off my soapbox. All right, so the next one is you have to do the work. I'm not the expert in your industry. You are. You are the one doing the thing. And this is going to lead me into my next point. But you have to show up. You have to show up at least being somewhat knowledgeable about what is going on in your industry. What is your competitors doing? What pisses you off about what's going on in your industry? What pisses the customers off? What do you wish that you would have known before you got in? What are things that customers complain about? Can you fill that void? You have to kind of come with some of that stuff. Like I said, even if it's not already like all the way thought out, at least a general idea. But sometimes people come with as a complete blank canvas, and that makes the process take longer. You know more about what's going on behind the scenes than we do. So we have to depend on you. Now, of course, there's going to be a part where we're doing our own research and stuff, but that's not going to be nowhere near as thorough. That's not going to be anywhere near as thorough as you coming to the table with some of this stuff already. something that we can build off of. Oh, another big one, pricing. Now, this is still under the same thing of saying that you have to do the work. Pricing is another big one. A lot of clients worry about pricing. But the thing is, you have to know what the market is priced as. That means that you need to know what your competition is pricing. Like, what are people paying now? And what are they getting for what they're paying for? You have to know these things. So, all right. Try not to get on my soapbox for all of these. All right, so the next one is kind of a segue in. Okay, you can get real comfortable having someone create your content, graphics, ads, funnels, all of that stuff. But I want you to remember, when you're working with a strategist, when you're working with a consultant, when you're working with a designer, when you're working with a coach, whoever, this is not specific to just a brand strategist. When you're working with us, you're on a finite amount of time that you have paid for. It should be a top priority for you to make sure that you're able to do stuff on your own while you have that time that you've paid for with us, so that we can help you, we can help guide you while we're still locked in with each other. Because I'm going to tell you, it's super easy to get comfortable, but what are you going to do when we're not there? Unless you're going to have us on retainer, which I welcome, but that's not everybody's situation. Everybody can't afford to keep their strategists on like all year round. Everybody can't afford that. So that means that towards the end of our time together, you should be posting and taking over doing most of your content creation and marketing, and using the tools and the strategy that we created together, so I can make sure that you're using it right. Because, see, I don't want to set you up what I believe is for success, but you don't know what to do without me. Now we've created a crutch, and I don't want that for you. Don't get super comfortable with your strategist. If you don't know how to do something, ask them how to do it. Ask them to make a Loom video to show you exactly how they did something. Ask them to get on a call. Ask them to make you a SOP. Ask them to make you a tutorial, a toolkit, whatever the case. I try to set my clients up for success as much as I can, but some of them do become dependent on me. And it's hard to break, because I feel like at some point we have to, like, I got to start charging you, like, after the fact. I got to start charging you now again, because you didn't take full advantage while we had our time together. And I delivered the deliverables already that you paid for. So now, like, I don't mind answering a few questions here or there. But if this is becoming a weekly or a daily thing for some of my clients, I'm like, nah, sis, we gonna have to talk about what this retainer looking like. It sounds like you need me for another 3 months, with the sole purpose of helping you navigate doing this on your own. So remember that you have a finite amount of time with your people. Make sure that you can operate without them. Okay, so the last thing is, you have to show up. Don't be afraid to start the journey of becoming the next version of yourself. What I find in some of my clients is that when we get done, now they're like, okay, so what do I do now? Like, you start becoming, you start being the brand that we just created. And then they start getting all in their head. All those limiting beliefs start to come back. That's just imposter syndrome. You can do this. If we made it this far, you can do this. My program is 12 weeks. You can do this. So all you have to do is show up. All you have to do is do the thing. And the last thing I want to say is that you need to manage your expectations. Remember, when you're building a brand, you're playing the long game. This isn't something that you're going to be able to measure like next week. You're playing the long game here. This is not just about sales. If you're only worried about sales, then you do not need a brand strategist. You might need a coach or a consultant. But you don't need a brand strategist if that's the only thing you're worried about. All right. Okay, so I hope that this was helpful. Please smash the like button if you found value in this video. And of course, hit the subscribe button too. And look, I'm holding this because the battery is literally going out. So I'm like, child, let me go ahead and wrap this video up. Anyways, I'm Shanae Washington, your favorite creative brand strategist, and I will see you next week. Thank y'all so much for tuning in.